Hey, Skylar here from the Mint Change You Can Wear. So today I'm going to show you guys a new technique that doesn't require any of this expensive ring stretching equipment. This is a great video for people who are just getting started in coin ring making and they don't want to really put a whole lot of money into that expensive equipment just yet. So let's get into it. So instead of using an expensive ring stretcher, we're only going to be using one of Jason's Works dies and his new steel folding mandrel. And before we get started, yeah, I do sell coin rings. You can check out my website, www.changeyoucanwear.net, and check out all my rings I have for sale there. Anyway, the first thing we need to do to make this is put a hole in it. And I have tons of good videos on those. I will put them in the description box below on how to make a hole in a coin to get started. But for now, I've put a 3/8 inch hole in here. The next thing we need to do is take a half round file like this one and just bevel those edges so that way it doesn't split when we start doing the folding process. After we got that done, I just take a little piece of 120 to 220 grit sandpaper and just clean up that edge inside of there. So now you can see it's nice and beveled and nice and smooth. And now we're ready to start annealing it. What we're going to use is a regular propane torch. Make sure you have some water ready to quench it. And of course, a pair of pliers to pick it up with. And like I said in my other videos, annealing and quenching it in water is fine. It doesn't harden it like it would steel or other ferrous metals. Once it gets to a nice bright red, we'll grab it, quench it in some water. And now we're ready to start doing the folding process. This is the die we're going to be using. You can get them at jasonsworks.etsy.com, and I'll put a link in the description box for that too. And this is the 0.9 to 1.0 die. And this is his newest tool that he's put out just recently. It is a stainless steel folding mandrel, basically. And because this is stainless steel, anywhere it touches the coin, it's going to ruin the detail. So what we can do to fix that is wrap it with a little bit of Teflon tape. Usually about 2 to 3 wraps will be perfect to preserve the detail. That should do it. Alright, now that thing is ready to go. Now we'll move to the press. The press I like to use is a 6-ton A-frame press. And they're $79.99, I think, over at Harbor Freight right now, before the 20% off coupon that you would use. But if you wanted to, you can get a 1-ton arbor press for, I think they're $59.95, so it's a little bit cheaper, obviously, with the 20% off coupon. So not too bad. Alright, now we have everything sitting underneath the die and ready to start pressing it down. And the good thing about this cone too versus ball bearings is that it keeps it more or less even as it goes down. You have to keep checking on it to be sure, but it does work a lot easier than the ball bearings did. So here we go. Alright, now all you do is press it down until you feel some resistance and then stop. And here's what it looks like coming right out of the die. So we haven't hit any of the detail of the coin at all. If I go ahead and pull this off, and it totally saved the detail on the inside by using that Teflon tape. Now the next thing we need to do is sand that edge just to make sure there's no cracks forming inside and out, and anneal it again, then we'll start stretching it. And as you go, inspect for cracks. Remember, crack is whack.
You know what dog food tastes like? Do you? It tastes just like it smells. Delicious.
Now, in order to get larger sizes on these quarters, we need to stretch this side out. Normally what we would do is use a ring stretcher, but, you know, the cheapest one being like $150, and they go way up from there. Out of reach for a lot of people, that's to begin with. So what we can do is use this thing again, and then push this down through there. You can use the same die here on the smaller side and make sure it stays nice and level and then plunge it down like that. We could do it like that, or what I like to do is get one of Jason's smaller dies. This one here is a 0.7, 0.8, and on this 0.7 side what you can do is just set that quarter right on there, and it's over the top of the actual die. That way you have somewhere for your plunger to go down into without hitting this thing, and it'll have room to stretch that coin all the way out. Alright, here we go. I'll stop right about there. And here's what we came up with so far. It's a lot straighter now. Now what we can do, depending on the size we need, we can turn it around this way and stretch it more, and then stretch it back and forth like that. Now we could keep going, like I said, and get larger sizes, but I'm going to stop right there and start to reduce it now. So I'm going to go back to the 1.0 side and then make sure I lube up the coin again just to make sure it slides down the die nice and easy. And this is just a homemade plunger, but Jason actually sells those as well. So it just goes over the top and we'll put some even pressure down on the coin. Now we just got done pressing it like that. I'm going to turn it over, lube it again. You can see the lube on it already. And then I'll put it in there and reduce this side now. And that's what it looks like coming out of the die. It's almost good looking right now, but I think I need to reduce it a little bit more to make it look a little more even. There we are now that it's a little more evened out. And I'm actually going for a size 8, so we're going to be just about right after I get done filing the sharp edge on the coin ring edge here. You can see right on this edge inside here, it'll be really sharp if I didn't file that down and then sand it before we get done. And once I'm done with that, we'll clean it up. And now the inside of that band has been filed nice and smooth and rounded off, nice and comfortable to wear. And now we'll go ahead and finish this thing up with a nail file sanding block. And I'll just knock off all the high spots and polish it out. I also like to take a little bit of 4-0 steel wool and clean up the inside, clean up the coin edge, and then even polish out this a little bit too. Now that we have that all done, it's looking almost finished. I think just hitting it with a polishing cloth and we'll be ready to go. And there you have it, a really nicely sized coin ring without having to use a stretcher at all. You know, it's not ideal to not use a stretcher, but if you don't want to get the cash right now, there's other methods. Alright guys, thanks for watching as usual. Have a good one.